Well. Welcome back to another episode of Opportunity. We do apologize for the brief hiatus. Things got a little crazy in a good way in terms of performing and just navigating life. As we all know how crazy that be, kind of like driving in Midtown New York during rush hour. If you all know what that's like, even if you're taking a taxi in New York City, you know. So, on this very special episode, we're going to hear about a special project that one of us was lucky enough to be a part of, and that is the Open Gates Project. Now,
Yeah.
before I turn it over to my fellow host and participant of that, I attended the concert, and it was a concert held by the Open Gates Project, in which they highlighted countertenors. And if y'all can go stream it, please go stream it. I will say this: if you can go hear early music in person, especially if it's in some kind of a church or cathedral where the acoustics, I mean, if you know anything about early music, you know majority of their music was performed in churches and cathedrals and things of that nature. So the acoustics for that type of music is just, for my music people, you already know overtones on top of overtones on top of overtones. I'm definitely gonna let Yvonne give us the rundown of the concert, but everybody was in top form. All of the pieces were done with, it's not about perfection, but they were done with such delicacy that it's just, as a musician and in the audience, it almost, it's this brief, and every musician, you know what I'm talking about. When the piece ends, like right when the piece ends, there's this silence that's almost like it takes your breath away for a hot
Mhm.
second, and then it's like you come back to earth. When I tell
Yeah.
y'all, all of the pieces were like that. Now, granted, when you go to concerts, you might get one, two, three if they're good. But when I tell y'all, all of the pieces had this dramatic, but not trying to be dramatic pause at the end. Oh, it was just something. Like I said, if you haven't, go stream it. We'll leave the information. If you can always catch concerts like that in person, go see it. It's different when sound can hit your face. Live sound can hit your face. It's different. It's just a different experience. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host, Mr. Yvonne. Now, Yvonne, tell us um, how you came to be in contact with the Open Gates Project, and Mr. Joe and Nell, and just tell us how this all came to be.
All right. So everyone, hi. It's been a while, but the Open Gates Project. I just want to just make a statement for the Open Gates Project of what it actually is. The Open Gates Project is a project of the Gothic early music scene here in New York City. And their primary mission is working towards engaging more artists of color on stages and growing the diversity of our audiences so that our audiences, look like the performers, like how just a mixture, a plethora of different cultures of people coming together to enjoy such rich, vibrant music. We were performing Dido and Aeneas with Aaron Copland this year. And was it this year? No, yeah, no, last year, last
Last
year.
year,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
last year.
All right, 2022. COVID got me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were performing Dido and Aeneas last year, and there was a director, but even going further back then, I attended a Open Gates Project performance called The Divine Feminine. And it was a performance full of women, as the instrumentalists to the conductor to the beautiful singers. And it did something for me personally because um, being such a being such an individual who has such admiration for early music, even to the Renaissance. Before I used to kind of just stick into Baroque, but digging deeper, you just keep finding beautiful pieces of work that's just not heard enough. And so, long story short, I attended this production with these beautiful, beautiful performers, and they all were of different colors and creeds, and it was beautiful to see on stage this like in front of me and witnessing it. To the point that after the production, I mean, like standing ovation from me. And I had to go say hello to who they put this all together. And that is when I ran into Joe Chappelle. And it was kind of like this moment where our eyes met. I don't know if he felt this way, but it's kind of like, oh, you love it too? And I'm like, yes, like it felt like I was meeting an old friend, like someone that it's like when you have just that shared common, it's just that love language that you don't even really need to speak. It's like we get each other. And I let him know about Dido, and I let him know how much the Open Gates project impacted me that night. And he was taken aback a bit and asked for like our information to exchange for like future productions that they would put on. So long story short, he actually came to our Dido performance. It was Saturday night. Friday night we were a little bit tired. So Saturday night we all were prepared, and we had the guns a-blazing. So I was in my sorceress moment, and I was performing the sorceress aria. And the thing about Joe is Joe's very distinctive. So like he is of the culture. So he has this beautiful coiffed like afro in the back, sheened up. And I literally am on stage and I see his silhouette in the back with our director Nell. So something told me like, boy, he came. So you better let him know. So even if you go back on that Saturday, I'm always shocked about how full those Fs are and how like voluptuous they are sounding. And I'm just like still amazed. But I saw that when I started singing, Nell literally turns her head, and then like they're looking at each other, they're actually talking, and I'm in the moment, but I'm not in the moment. It's like split. So, after the production, he comes, he wishes me a good job. He wishes Leslie a good job. Leslie was another student that attended the Divine Feminine with me. So, and they also love Leslie too. So they just, when they see people of color come to, support this, it does something to them because, it's like they're seeing, I think maybe their younger selves. So it's kind of like, good, like we're going to, pass the baton, move it through. So long story short, he contacted me and he was doing another project on countertenors of color. And he emailed me and asked me if I would like to join as, a young performing artist. And I said, and I had to really, I didn't think about this. The moment he asked me, I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
Like
there's
I did
some things
not.
you just don't say no to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have been just like, he could have said anything. I was just like, it's just so crazy that I was sitting in the audience, having my moment. And it's like, now I'm going to be performing and having someone else in the audience have that moment, so it's kind of this, we're all in it together. So there was a program already set. This concert was already happening even way before I even agreed to do it. So the countertenors that were there, I would like to even say their names for, because they deserve it. They deserve it for how well they've done. The first countertenor, definitely Patrick Daly. Mr. Daly and I have been acquaintances for some time now. He's always been kind to me, always friendly, always helpful. And I wasn't surprised that when I met him in person, it was the real deal. Like, I mean, like this man is in the back, like zipping me up in my sorceress costume for me because, I couldn't, because, I don't know, but it wasn't.
Is that snack and bacon?
It's that snack. It's that snack and bacon. But you know, I've been doing good though. I've been on my stationary bike for 2 weeks now, and I feel a little, you know, I know I'm gonna get there. But what you call it, yes, so he helped me in my costume, and you know, when the other guys saw me, the other countertenors, they were like, wait, we're wearing costumes, like how do you get to wear a costume? And I'm like, no, like, you know, it was just something me and Joe planned, and but it was a success. The countertenor, so definitely Patrick Daly was there. There is another one that I know, that I was acquainted with before, but he wasn't acquainted with me. But I literally saw him in a few operas, by Opera Mission with Jennifer Peterson, who was another acquaintance of mine, and also a very friendly, very beautiful person. Very intelligent when it comes to early music. She used to give like ornamentation classes at I think the opera studio somewhere around in the 50s. I forget, it slips my memory, but she was a fantastic person for early music. So, and the countertenor that I met through, that I've seen through her, his name was Barrage. I'm not going to pronounce your last name, Barrage, because I'm not going to butcher it, out of respect for you, out of us having our moment at Cafe Fiorello and having a very substantial, beautiful conversation. And, you know, you may not have known me, but just me seeing you on stage, you have always been an inspiration, always. So, and when you commit to a character, you really do commit wholeheartedly, which is something I do admire. And it was beautiful. Like, we literally were just having conversations, and he's over here like, you know, you have such a dramatic voice, like you definitely should be singing, that voice needs to be singing Mozart and Rossini, actually, like you need to kind of venture out of, you know, the regular stuff that we're always seen to do, like take the voice a little bit further now. So, you know, that was very beautiful. He didn't have to say that, and he took that time and did it, so I'm really appreciative. Another countertenor was Wei In Chan. Oh my gosh, hi Wei In, if you're watching this. Wei In is such a sweetheart. Um, the moment that I showed up at the rehearsal, he definitely, hello, how are you? Like, oh my gosh, what score are you reading? I think that we literally got off talking about a score that I brought. Um, and, you know, he was telling me about his college experiences, and, you know, just happy that I was a part of the production. Um, and he's also starring in Ricardo Broski's Idapse, if anyone's interested. He'll be singing with Jonathan Holliday, who is another dear friend of mine, and the incomparable Vivica Jeannot. So that's definitely, you know, it felt good to be like, I'm in a concert with Wei In, who's doing an opera with people that I admire in the business. So it's like fate literally saying, oh, you're almost there. Like, you know, you got to just keep going. Like, you know, you're getting steps closer to what it is and where it is you want to be. And the last countertenor that did the concert with us was Mr. Jonathan May. Jonathan is how could I put this? It gives off just intelligent singer. It's something about him where not only does he have a very unique, a lovely sound, a sweet tone to his voice, um, he gives off that, like, you know, a sense of confidence and musicianship that I admire as well too. I mean, just like when he was singing the Singy Druids with Wei In, and I'm listening to all the movements he had to do in that piece, he hit every note. And it was just like that, just precision. Like when I see him, it's just like a singer with precision and just, you know, just a good sound. So it was a pleasure meeting those countertenors. They were embracive. Um, Joe Chappelle was encouraging. Just a lovely person to be around. And the Baroque ensemble was amazing. Miss Pat Neely, a beautiful, 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 beautiful instrumentalist. And seeing a woman of color, she was probably one of the main individuals that attracted me from the first concert. because I'm looking at someone who has my textured hair going in, like, and I'm just like, oh wow, like, and she looked like she'd be one of my aunts. So I literally was just like, it feels like a safe space in here. And it's like she brings that whether she knows she likes it or not. But she's such a sweetheart. Larry, he was like the lead instrumentalist there. An awesome individual. Dom Sook was the harpsichordist. Super friendly. I feel bad, Terrence, because in that scene when I'm walking up the aisle, right, and I have to turn and then start singing out to the audience, and I feel so bad because this man is right here. So he would always say, and I didn't find out like this was a running joke until the end. He's like, yeah, singing around this kid, it's like I gotta literally like my ear is just completely gone. And I honestly do not realize that the sound is that big. Like I'm literally saying, like, should I go a little louder? I feel bad because I don't feel the people at the end are getting a full effect. And it was just heartwarming. And we had an awesome program. They even got to write like a little bio about me in this. So this is another like memento that I'm just stacking up. Um, and just using those as tools to just keep going, keep, striving for your dreams. And, whenever you feel, this was a testament for whenever you feel sometimes um, when the road is dark or something, or, you're at a standstill or you're second guessing some things. It's because it's like, well, how do I get there? Like there's no map. I'm not sure, and something just keeps telling me, just keep singing, keep doing what you love, and and surround yourself with people um that are like-minded when it comes to that. And there's something else I want to stress real quick too, Terrence, that Joe Chappelle said to me, and it hit me hard a bit because I feel like I do this, but he said, now that you're here, don't forget to turn around and grab someone else's hand and bring them up.
Absolutely.
And I think that like I think it's not so much even going in just a friend thing, but I think an individual that when you see someone that has that common love for something, you know what I mean? Or lack of something, I think it is our duty, if we have succumbed or surpassed certain struggles we've gone through, I think it's our duty to really encourage our peers that are coming up after us, give them that reassurance that, yeah, that was amazing, or giving credit where it's due. Because I feel sometimes that it's not so much just about even just compliments. It's literally just like, hey, audition for this. This is something that or hey, take, this person right here should help you to get, where it is that you want to be. So, like even with me and you, Terrence, like if I see something that I'm just like, ooh, this will be good for him, I'm gonna send it your way, because it's just like, that's the whole point. It's like, if you win, I win. You know what I mean? I win. It's because it's like I'm doing my duty by, let's go, Terrence. And there you go. And then Terrence is gonna see someone else and be like, hey, do this program. And then boom, something could, come out of it. And, a lesson could be learned or technique can be improved. But yeah, this was a very lovely project. But I want to know, Terrence, what was some of your favorite like moments?
I
Like
was
what
gonna ask you
was
the same thing, literally. Like I was literally gonna ask you the same thing. I'm not gonna include you in it because I feel like it would be biased. So,
okay.
as everybody did well, my favorite solo piece, I think it went without mention, and I think if you ask anybody who was in the audience, when Patrick Daly did that "Ombre My Fool," I mean, you had, I could find all of the eloquent words to try to describe it, but I really wouldn't be able to. It was just something, the way his voice spun up in the atmosphere, and as singers, sometimes it's really hard to have that level of control over your instrument, which comes from hours and years of practice. But the payoff, that performance, I mean, it's a common aria, so a lot of people do sing it, and a lot of people sing it well. I'm not taking, don't take away from anybody who I've ever heard sing it, but that specific performance, it was it was almost otherworldly. Like the control, the drawback, the dynamics, the diction, how in sync he was with the Baroque ensemble. Like everything was just on point. And then to hold that high F and then let it go, float it. Let's hear the overtone.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the aria. I mean, I don't. If you could push replay in a live concert, that's what I would have pushed replay. Like I wanted to hear him sing it like 3 more times, honestly. Everybody did fine. Everybody was good, but that stuck out. My favorite ensemble piece was the Cavalli Porti Stringo.
Stringo. Oh my God.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Mother Mary, baby daddy. It was so, the blend, the balance. You could literally be sitting anywhere in that cathedral and heard all 4 parts like crystal clear. It was, nobody was trying to outsing the other person because it's higher in my register than it is in your register at the moment. It was really a blend that rivals some of the best a cappella ensembles to ever. Like the blend was just insane. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cavalli set it up, perfect. But the blend was insane. So my 2 favorite moments of the show was that piece and Patrick Daly's Ombra Mai Fool. I mean, don't get me wrong, Weigh-In was fabulous. Everybody was fabulous. Like there was no weak link in the show, like at all. Like it was no weak link. Like, normally you hear off note here or off note there. It was no weak link in the show. The show was top tier, but we all have preferences. It doesn't mean anybody else is bad. And those 2 pieces were just my 2 favorites of the night.
Okay.
Yeah, those were. I mean, just in general, the way Joe set up that concert to have like it flow, like the flow. While we did stop and clap in between certain portions, just the flow of the concert. One person coming in, and it's a minor detail, a very minute detail. One person coming in while the next person is getting. It wasn't like clap, 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 clap.
Yeah.
It was clap, 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 clap. 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 and then the next piece started. It was the flow. I think that's another thing that just made it so everything just flowed. Everything, the atmosphere was what it needed to be. The spirit in the audience. I don't know this to be the case, but I feel like most of that audience were either like music history professors or musicologists or some kind of musician. It was interesting because you could look over and at any point in time during certain pieces, certain people were, conducting. And sometimes as musicians you can't help it, and you just, like I saw one guy. I mean, he wasn't conducting up to distract the performance, but just looking over, I could see him down, kind of ticking his head a little bit, and I honestly, I don't think it wasn't on purpose because I found myself, I had my hand on the back of the chair, of the pew, excuse me, and just out of habit, I was just tapping, dun, 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 dun. when Ombra Maifu came in, I feel like everybody was like dun dun dun
Yeah.
ya ya ya, and everybody was. That's why I say I feel like it was a bunch of musicians and musicologists and music history professors. And
I mean, Dr. Wilburn was there, so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like
she
she.
did come. I was very surprised to see her there, in a good way. Very. I mean, it was that kind of event. Like it was. I don't think at 7 p.m. that Friday night I could have been anywhere else and achieved that level of just music satisfaction, other than maybe Uno's Pizzeria getting a numero uno with extra cheese. Or some buffalo wings or ranch. Let me stop. But um, it was just a beautiful concert from beginning to end. And if that's what Open Gates offers, then we need to be going. I mean, we need to have more Open Gates concerts, because I mean, it was a beautiful concert from beginning to end.
Yeah.
There was no weak links, no dull moments. The the orchestra played superbly. Quite often I know that they don't get their credit, but they played just as good as everybody sang. Let me say that again. They played just as good as everybody else sang. So
Mhm.
when I say there was no weak link, I mean that from the top to the bottom, from the singers to the instrumentalists to production, to there was no confusion. We did not know where to not to. It was just, if that's how I would love to go to any kind of a concert or show, where it's just that level of attention to detail. You can
Mhm.
tell that somebody played in their head how they wanted the show
To
from
go. Yeah.
from the time the first person walked out until the time the last person in the audience left. You can tell that in somebody's head, they played it out and made the necessary adjustments to make that happen.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is some of them actually are Copeland graduates, like for their undergraduate years ago.
Oh,
And that's why it was just really and then it's so crazy because all of them knew who Dr. John was. So I was just like, wow, like I didn't know. They were like, oh, you're going to school with James John. He's amazing. You're gonna have a great, anything. He's so intelligent. I'm like,
very much so.
okay, like and then of course when I saw Dr. John in Choral Society, I'm like, hey, Pat Neely says hello. He's just like, wait, what? He's like, I didn't know you're, with Pat Neely. So it's just like,
I
yeah,
can
no,
hear
but
him
and
saying that in my head.
no, but even speaking of Dr. John as well, like, I really like, I told him, and even in an email recently, a big thank you, because I mean, like, he's the one who was coaching me and helping me like intensely on that role of the sorceress. Like, he made sure that like everything, like to diction, to kind of, take a breath here, do this, like it was really, and I felt that we worked so well together. Um, he's so he's just a kind, it's I wish there was more people like Dr. John in the world. And even tonight, like even before this, he sent me a clip of the critic that wrote about the thing, and he literally said, Yvonne, I'm so proud of all the work that you've done. I look forward to our future performances together, like, and that's something that I think that I hope is going on in music schools. Is I hope that the faculty is being supportive to the students, even on outside engagements. Even if you can't be present, being there means a lot. Because I could tell you after Open Gates, now at school, and even with my singing, I feel like I've gained another sense of confidence. Like seeing other countertenors did something to me from that performance, and seeing that, you know, these countertenors have done amazing things already. And to be able to kind of like fuse and work with them and to build that sense of camaraderie has, you know, it brings a sense of encouragement. But I felt it was weird, like when they were all sitting down at the church, and I'm literally like walking down the aisle. It's like, yes, like join the crew. Like, but it was a great experience, you know. And also, to another person I would like to also acknowledge is Miss Nell Snidus, because
No.
yes, Miss Nell. Nell is, I don't know. It's weird, my relationship with Nell. Um, I think maybe it's because we have the early music bug. So it's like we clicked, and it's not even the fact that like just because we like it. It's like even like the Spanish Baroque stuff she's doing. She literally just released an album on like Baroque music in Latin America. So like you're hearing not Baroque but early music. So you're hearing, you know, still that kind of Italian sound, but not. It's like you're hearing these certain Spanish influences into the music now. Um, and she's amazing. Like she literally directed us for Dido. It was such a peaceful environment. It was an encouraging environment. She was supportive to each individual in that opera. Like everybody can honestly say they had a moment with her. Like, hey, you know, what is your thoughts about something? Always asking, always trying to really form this unity of the show, which I think that is the reason why it was such a success. And I think honestly, probably one of the top performances I feel at Copeland so far, with the caliber of the music, of, you know, the costumes, of what was given and what was made. I feel like we definitely pat on the back, especially Mr. Spirit over here, looking all dapper, everything. Yes, yes. But it was such a pleasure to like, and then Terrence, that's our first opera, like actually working together. Like, I wish I could have been a Merry Widow, or I could have been in something that, you know, maybe all of us could have done.
Well,
Um,
we always have the future to look forward to. Just to piggyback on that before we end the episode, it's almost like Nell and Dr. John went to the same school of compassion and I
uh,
mean the intelligence.
they went to Kind Heart College. That's
I mean, we definitely need more of them. The intelligence, excuse me, matched with the professionalism, matched with the
yes.
musicianship,
Mm.
matched with and I can keep going on and on and
The
on.
knowledge, the
I
knowledge. Not
mean,
only are you're going
all
to be
the
immersed.
adjectives, yeah. I mean, all the adjectives you could find. Um, it just even with my coachings with Dr. J, I call him Dr. J. Dr. John, you already know I call you Dr. J. Um, he was just always warm and just like I don't know how to explain. It was just like this warm, parting knowledge. Let's make music.
Approachable, always
Oh
approachable.
man! And I was only thinking one page, mind you, one page. And he's like, "Well, Terrence, we can coach it." I'm like, "Of course." I'm not like when somebody like Dr. John asks you, do you want to do a coaching? I don't care if it's perfect. You say yes.
Yes.
And I don't get me wrong, I feel like I had it maybe by the end of our second coaching. I think I had, what he wanted me to do down pat. But he asked me for a third and fourth, and I say yes and yes. Because when somebody like that asks you and they have that type of knowledge mixed with that type of musicianship, even just the kindness and things you can use for your future endeavors, I say yes. I mean, you will be hard up to find somebody who dislikes that man. And then to pair him with Nell, I mean, Nell, I thought Nell, I know you feel like I was slow every time you had to tell me how to run out on that stage. I'm sorry. I don't know. I was having a mental block. But when you meet somebody who is just open, kind, just I mean, people like that will always be okay in life because their spirit will take them further than music could have, than musicianship, whatever. She could have been flipping burgers, but it's the kind,
Mhm.
like, I don't even know if I could, like, she was just so kind and helpful, and you know, I don't think it was a mean spirited bone in her body, which goes to show why, with the limited amount of time we had, we accomplished what we accomplished. It's a reflection of the people who led, and those two
Yeah.
people. We didn't learn that opera a year in advance. We didn't even learn it 6 months in advance. We learned, and then granted, it's not a long opera, but still, we learned it in like 4 months. Choreography, music, everything in like 4 months. And the reason it went as smoothly as it did. Don't get me wrong, all of my colleagues, they all did fabulous, but it must be said that the leadership was excellent. It must be said. You can't say we had a good show without acknowledging the direction that it came, and that from Nell up to Dr. John. And
Yeah.
I really wish we could copy and paste and throw them in so many other spaces that need them. Unfortunately, there are only two people, but I feel like a lot of people would benefit from having people like them instruct them,
Yeah,
um,
no, definitely.
and
Definitely.
mentor them. Excuse me. I think that's even more important, or just as important, um, because I feel like you can receive something better if you feel like it's coming from a genuine place.
Yeah, no, I could honestly say like like I think it's because of, because we had this ongoing chat, and the chat that we had literally was like, it of course started with the sorceress. And it was me sending her pictures of costumes, like, what do you think about this? And we're thinking of ideas and trying to put our heads together. And I think that like she was going to have me wear what Eduardo was wearing. Um, and I was like, I'm kind of not like seeing the sorceress like that. I kind of like hinted like, how do you feel like if the sorceress literally was just in a dress? And then she literally looked at me and she's like, oh my God. Like, yes, like her eyes. And I think that maybe she was afraid to ask me of how I would have felt about it. And that's totally understandable. Like, you definitely don't want to make anybody feel like uncomfortable, especially nowadays. Like, you call somebody something and it's like, you are canceled, like out of here. So I'm just like, I
You
could
can leave that
see.
alone.
Yeah, but I could literally, but I saw in her face, it was just like this understanding. So we tried to get this idea, and I still feel that the look still was iconic. Like both of us was literally together, like with this idea. It went with the theme. And I just think that like we were just meant to click. Like, and she's been so helpful even outside of Dido. Um, she's like helped me put like an audition package together. She's literally introduced me to people. Like, she's the reason why I knew Joe. Like, that was kind of that, you know that pivot moment where it's kind of like, okay, so now things are lining up, like things are kind of, and like I was supposed to go to Open Gates that night, like I was supposed to apply to Aaron. Like, it's like when you're looking all the things that led you to that moment, you're just like, if I didn't go, like, maybe I would have landed there still, but I could see the path of where it is. And it's like, I've gained such a phenomenal friend, I can say now. She definitely is like an ally. Like, seeing her, like I was crying like she was my mama, like towards the end, because it's like I know how much she knows how much I love this stuff. And I think that when she sees me, she probably sees a part of herself too. So it's kind of like this nurturing, I feel like, and I'm all here for it. Like, Joe and Nell receive me. Like, I am here to absorb as much information um, about what we do. and why we love it and try to incorporate more people of color into doing it. Like I'm over here trying to give you Baroque pieces and some Monteverdi because I feel like that specifically that Monteverdi, Terrence, like if you felt that Porti Stringo by Cavalli was captivating, just wait until we sing this Monteverdi together and you guys are giving this royal, regal, just literally golden voices, all of you. And I feel that it's literally like a diamond is going to form when you guys sing because you already all have rich tones and beautiful quality, ornate qualities to your voices that I feel like once they combine, it's literally going to be like, boom, a diamond. It's like, and then here I go, just trying to belt it out. But no, I just feel, that's why I'm trying to incorporate it. Like that's me giving to the community that I love to be a part of is I want people like you, people like Eduardo, people like Kyle, to really come together and show this, diversity still with this beautiful music. And I will be inviting Joe for our quartet. I'm going to let him know for the performance when to tune in or if he can come and see it. Because I know he wants to, it's for artists of color coming together and, giving Handel a run for his money. So good things to come.
Well, all right, party people. That is going to conclude this episode of OperaTuneiTea. Me, Yvonne, and I promise we will get better with dropping episodes. But as things picked up, we didn't realize how much they picked up. So we are both human beings, homework, work, regular life, all of that good stuff. But we promise to make more of an effort to at least try to get something out on a regular basis. Yeah. So without further ado, we are going to go enjoy our Friday night, as you should, and your extended weekend, okay? But as we always say, have a good night. And listen, if you're not having a good night, what do we not do? Go mess up somebody else's night. Throw on some Cavalli, throw on some Monteverdi. If you want to throw on some Kanye West after that and some Jay-Z, do your thing as long as you're having a good time. So until we meet again, party people, y'all have a good one.
Ciao.